We got a new landmark order that blows the doors off of DOGE by Judge Cooper in the District of Columbia Federal Court. It matters. It declares for the first time that Elon Musk, his DOGE, are really agencies masquerading as just limited advisors to President Trump, exposing them to the mandates of public records law, Freedom of Information Act requests, and making sure that they turn over everything about what they're doing, their nefarious work, their secret communications, who they're hiring, who they're firing, what servers are they running amok in, what personal information have they downloaded, and the power structure and the implementation structure for this quasi-agency. It's going to be a fight now. Donald Trump's going to argue, as we predicted on Legal AF, that the executive branch and the executive privilege covers everything Musk does because he's just an advisor. He doesn't really have any power. That's not what Judge Cooper just said. I'm going to break it down for you here on Legal AF. We got a 37-page decision. Ben Meiselas and me, on a recent edition of Legal AF, we talked about this very fight this past week, when we said, this is going to be the fight. Someone's going to declare finally that they are subject to public records. We operate government in the sunshine. The reason for the velocity at which we're watching and the secrecy at which we're watching DOGE and Musk operate, and the deniability becoming ever more implausible deniability, is to take it out from oversight by Congress. But that is the very thing that makes them violative of the separation of powers. Makes them violative of the checks and balance. It's the velocity, the secrecy that for Judge Cooper means I've got to open up. I got to get a can opener and open this up and let sunshine in as the best disinfectant. People need to know what DOGE is, how it operates, who operates it, who's pushing the buttons. Who's pushing the buttons on the servers? Who's deleting funding? Who's going and rummaging around in medical and personal records of Americans? And for Donald Trump to say, well, the cabinet does it, that we all know from reporting, and Judge Cooper concluded based on what he's examined in the record, that that's a lie. In fact, he said that the velocity and secrecy at which DOGE is operating is the very thing that makes it subject to FOIA requests. That, and it's obviously exercising independent executive authority. That is the test. And he issued his preliminary injunction. Let me read to you from the some of the order. It's 37 pages. On page 7, the judge says, in a move viewed by some as pernicious, USDS, that's DOGE, has obtained unprecedented access to sensitive personal and classified data and payment systems across federal agencies. They've had access to massive trove of personal information of millions of federal employees, sensitive Treasury data, including Social Security and Medicare customer payment systems. They've gained access to information on all Americans who rely on Medicare and Medicaid, as well as countless consumers from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, all done without congressional oversight. Now, CREW, which is an organization we've talked a lot about, a public service organization, Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, brought this case. And CREW wanted this information out within the next few days. The judge says, well, I'm going to order all of it. Office of Management Budget, you're of course subject to FOIA, Freedom of Information Act requests, and you, DOGE, now are, because I declare that you are an agency. You're operating with independent executive power. You're not just a mere advisor. But I'm not going to make them do it like overnight. Rolling production, meaning every day, every week, more documents, not waiting for a date certain to produce everything, starting the rolling production now. And the judge, who has a lot of misgivings and a lot of queasy feelings that DOGE is purposely using applications, communication applications like Signal, which have an auto delete function in order to delete public records, has ordered them to preserve their records. It's called an anti-spoliation order from a federal judge. Now, we talk a lot about cases. There's more than 100 of them against the Trump administration. But this one is the first to do what we've been calling for, to declare that DOGE and Elon Musk are subject to public records laws. They can then be seen by the public, by Congress, used in the lawsuits. There's no limit to this treasure trove of information. And the judge had a very good point, Judge Cooper. He said the very weaponry of the Department of Justice, its velocity at which it's operating, the speed, the secrecy is the reason we've got to use the antiseptic of sunshine and let the public see what's happening in there. so that we're not guessing. A prior federal judge about a week or so ago said, I've been on this case for 3 weeks. It's very opaque about Musk, the relationship between Musk, DOGE, the Office of Personnel Management, the executive branch, Trump. It shouldn't be opaque. How does the government and the Congress provide oversight? How does the public have accountability if it's opaque? And so now here's the fight that's going to happen off of this that we predicted. Donald Trump argued that Musk is a mere advisor, advising the president, therefore enjoying executive privilege and shouldn't have to testify or turn over his records. But we all know he's doing more than that. The public knows it. The media knows it. The judge referred to the media reports over and over again. And so at the end of the day, what this means is we're going to have a fight first at the DC Court of Appeals, then up to the United States Supreme Court about whether Elon Musk is just a mere all shucks advisor or he's exercising independent agency authority, which we know he's doing. The judge cited over and over again in his 37 pages from the record, the tens of thousands of federal workers all canned because of Elon Musk. The fork in the road email, right? Ride or die, resign or we'll fire you. That came out of Elon Musk. All of the millions of dollars of payments, the U.S. aid or entity being shuttered by Musk, not by Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State. That's all out there. That they go into an organization and they won't identify themselves. They won't wear a hello, my name is tag. They won't tell the actually duly authorized officers, constitutional officers, federal officers who they are. Kudos, finally, chef's kiss, Judge Cooper. DC Court of Appeals will probably uphold it. Then we're off to the United States Supreme Courts. And what are they going to do? I know what 4 of them are going to do. Alito, Thomas, Gorsuch, and Kavanaugh. They're going to be like, well, the president has to have executive privilege, needs to be able to get advice. There's no real evidence that Musk is doing anything. Really, Musk says it himself. Donald Trump tweets it. Donald Trump confesses it in front of the public, in front of the entire American voting population during a joint session of Congress. We know the role of Donald Trump. I know Supreme Court acts like they live in a hermetically sealed ivy tower, but we live in the real world and we see what's happening. And we know there's 100,000 federal workers disappeared overnight, along with funding, along with checks, as Elon Musk turns his sights on Medicare and Medicaid, because he said he would. Is this the platform that Donald Trump ran on? Because I must have missed it, and I followed it pretty closely. Right? Is this what he promised he was going to do on day 1 or day 100 as we enter day 60 of his administration? It's like dog years. It feels like 3 years in, And this thought experiment that he's implementing is only harming the American people. And Judge Cooper took the first step to getting information out so we can evaluate it. I'll continue to follow it. And the next steps in this case right here on Legal AF, the YouTube channel. Join me every day, every way. I curate this channel in collaboration with Midas Touch. And then, of course, you can catch me on the Midas Touch YouTube channel on a regular basis, almost every day. In addition to that, you've got the podcast, Legal AF, the podcast. So until my next reporting, I'm Michael Popok. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories, the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.